get stuck here, the cops won't bother me.
Shit. 100 miles an hour, it's like I'm not even doing full throttle. Now this is what the FJR looks like without the saddlebags. So much better. It looks like a very large sport bike instead of a touring bike. If you've ever seen a ST1300 without the bags, it looks really terrible. This one looks fantastic. I really like it. I like the non-saddlebag style, but if you were to put the bags on it, it looks pretty good too. Like, I haven't started it in about a week. If you guys remember, I went to a gas station just when there was a huge storm. Look at this, $179. That's the cheapest I've ever seen it in a very long time. All right, let's fill this thing up. That's kind of odd. 4.6. I don't like how the trip resets. It's kind of odd. It's kind of cold out. It's like 40 something degrees. And because I got the windscreen up, electronic windscreen too, I got the windscreen up, and this is a C. Bailey windscreen. I am barely getting hit by any wind. And it feels like almost like I'm riding in 70 degree weather. That's how comfortable this is. If I was to take out my Ninja 250 or NC700 now, the wind would just kind of blow me around. This thing is just planted. Roads are pretty wet too, and this is a powerful bike, so you could slip. So this is the DMV. So I could easily ride to DC or Virginia. Virginia though is interesting because the cops there, they're much more strict. I don't quite know, but it's as if like they know that's how to extract money out of motorists, so they throw the book at you. So one of the things that's been happening lately is that riders, motorcycle riders, have been coming to Maryland to ride because Maryland is a little bit more relaxed in their laws, I guess, or at least the cops are, maybe they have bigger issues to deal with than, you know, little traffic offenses. But you know, I have a certain mentality that when I'm around town like this, and I consider this like around town, it's kind of like a nice little road, but it's residential. I don't ride like a douche nozzle. Now I ride like a douche nozzle if I'm out in the country and there's hardly any houses around or people around. But if I'm riding to the city or around this area, I try to, I guess, be a little bit more respectful, even though there's been times that I've definitely have ridden hard through these roads. I have a mentality that if I ride slow around here, I should be able to ride faster in the countryside, because that's really where, if you're going to ride hard, you want to ride hard in the countryside and not like in some highway. The thing is, when I come to a complete stop, when you look at my legs and this fairing on the FJR, I actually kind of hit my knee on it, which is kind of odd. I don't think that's supposed to be a design, but maybe the people that buy FJRs have smaller, shorter legs, and I tend to have a little bit longer. It's no big issue, because I can just kind of like lift my body up a little bit more. FJR is a very good bike for police work, is that it's a very comfortable, fast bike. And there's very few bikes out there that can, you know, pull away from this bike. Sure, you can have a sport bike and it'll pull away, but not that much. You would think that a GSXR 1000 or whatever could pull hard, and it can, harder than this one, but not much harder. Everybody likes to think that super sport bikes are these super bikes, but they're great in the right hands. The FJR though It's a great bike if you're riding and you're a cop and you want something to like be completely reliable, durable, has a long range, and can keep up with like 99% of cars and motorcycles out there. But there is the type of rider in this area that thinks that running away from cops is a great idea. There was this guy one time that ran away from cops and he thought he actually got away, but they got his tag and information and basically had a warrant out for his arrest if he didn't turn himself in. So he turned himself in, and then he's like saying, yeah, I got away from the cops. Maryland, DC, Virginia has this weird mentality that they think that running from cops is a great idea. I think it's like all ego. Everybody likes to say to their friends that they ran away from cops. And sometimes you get some of these riders that do get away from cops, and then they post up on groups and then they get arrested. And then there's the guys that run away from cops and they do video of them running away from cops and they get arrested. I am in the camp of, I don't want to run away from cops. I just don't. I don't want that hassle. My whole existence is I don't want any interaction with cops. I think any interaction with cops is a bad interaction. 2020, you can still get a first generation FJR1300 for about $2,500 to $3,500 depending on the location. And I keep thinking, man, this is such a good bike. It's a great bike for most people, especially if you ride a lot and you get so much out of it. You're basically getting a sport bike with comfort, a comfortable sport bike. And it's very difficult to get a very comfortable sport bike, and by the way, with a shaft drive, so you never have to worry about chains ever again. And I love that. I love that idea. And this bike doesn't get any more reliable. This is the type of bike that you would get, you would put 200,000 miles and then it would still feel like it's got 20,000 miles, and all of that for $2,000. I mean, it's so hard to believe that you can get so much bang for your money on these older FJRs. Now the new FJRs, I've looked at them, they're expensive. They do hold their value, but they're, you know, they have lots more electronics like the suspension modes and all of that sort of stuff. And of course, for me, I like bikes that are cheap. I like that I can buy a older bike and kind of give it a good new home. And that's what this FJR is to me. I bought it cheap, I fixed it up, and a lot of people write these bikes off. They're like, oh, it's a 2005, it's like, you know, it's too old. But in reality, these bikes are just as good as any other bike. You know, the engine is solid. The engine, the transmission, that's really what you should be looking for.